of mainly what he embodies, and which is exactly what we needed, what we all need, I think, at this time of the year to get kick-started. And when I spoke to Richard about giving this talk, he gave all credit for these attributes that he has to you, Karina. So we're very excited to hear what you've got to say in terms of how you work with various businesses and companies to motivate and to get the best out of people. So we are very excited to hear you guys just have a very informal conversation this morning. And yeah, I'm going to leave it over to you. But if anyone along the way has got questions or comments for either Richard or Karina, please put in the chat box and we will address them at the end. Over to you guys.
Thanks, Brenna. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. There seems to be more of a weighting of females to males this morning. Do you guys get up earlier than the guys for some reason? But in any event, I'm very, very glad to have all of you here. See one or two familiar faces, and obviously to have Karina with us this morning, which is great. So to give you some context, I have a corporate education business which I've been running now for 20 years. So the thought of that makes me feel starting to age. But originally from Johannesburg, and I built a national operation with over 60 staff. And Karina's been working with us for, I think, close to 9 years now, if I'm not mistaken. And Karina is our performance coach, and she meets with every single one of our staff members, including myself, once a month for a highly confidential coaching session, where she has been tasked with aligning the personal ambitions and goals and values of the individual with that of the organization, with the intent of using our organization as a vehicle to realizing each person's absolute and highest potential. And the reason we do this, in fact, I did this in lieu of hiring an HR manager. And the rationale behind it was that, my grandfather always used to say to me that there's this misnomer of separation between work and home life. And he used to say it's the same pair of pants, different pockets. And what we found was that people that had issues or challenges at home would bring that into the office and vice versa. And so this sort of idea kickstarted how we could holistically nurture the people in our team and in our business, and holistic being the key word there, to be able to get them to perform their best, more importantly, to be their happiest, and to realize that there's more to life than work, and that we all have stuff, we all have baggage that we carry with us. And not all of us have the ability to seek out therapy, coaching, or just don't know how or where to go in order to clear that. So we've decided to share with you. So Karina and I are going to have a conversation. This is not going to be a formal presentation, and it's a conversation about really just sharing our experience in let's say a business or work context. However, how important it is to be clear of mind, to have an unbelievable attitude, to have a fantastic vitality and health, in order for you to be able to perform and achieve what it is that you guys do, be it in your business, in your home life, or whatever it is. Karina, you want to come in and give us a little intro and maybe share some of the experience with us and others?
Sure. I have to share with you all, Richard is clearly a phenomenal leader. There's no doubt he wouldn't be doing what he's doing for 20 years, which is a great testament to yourself and your drive and your vision and your consciousness, Richard. And when we first met, he was actually interviewing me for a job. And he thought, you've got the right background, I'd like to meet with you. And I was like, no, I'm not looking for a job. This is kind of who I am and what I do. But I said, I'd still like to meet with you, which is I think a very important thing for us to remember that constantly connecting and meeting with various people is very healthy. And so we embarked on this wonderful relationship from there. And he said, you know, I have an employee who's not performing to their best. Do you think you could work with them? And I'm like, yeah, of course, that's what I can do. And one person grew to being everybody of the company, which requires quite a lot of time management on my part, because, you know, iLearn is my favorite company, but it's not my only company in which I assist all individuals. And my personal backgrounds, I've been basically one of those individuals who's been working since I was 15 years old, not by choice, but I had to. And then I fell into recruitment, which, I have to be honest with everybody listening, this is where I felt I got my PhD in human behavior. I don't think any amount of studying could have given me such a awakening and understanding of human behavior, because from a young age, I started at the tender age of 18. I was recruiting and placing people who were much older than me and much more experienced than me and much more qualified than me. But I always stayed humble, and I always stayed curious, and I always stayed in the space of learning. And obviously I have special skills and sets of talents and strengths like every single one of us. And I was well placed in that industry. And I, you know, by the age of 30, I had placed close on 100,000 people in Gauteng alone. So yes, that also comes with working really hard. I was a donkey worker. And anyway, I then made the transition to say I wanted to move into more training and perhaps coaching. I didn't know what coaching was really, that I wasn't familiar that much. And, you know, 10 years ago, it wasn't so in the mainstream as what it actually is now. So I thought my next vision was going to be, I was tired from recruitment because it was incredibly intense. You basically work 24/7 if you want to make it a real impact in people's lives and industries, because, you know, when people are looking for jobs, they can't necessarily speak to you when it's your working hours. They can only speak to you after 7 on the weekends, etc. And yeah, going into coaching was the natural progression, because I enjoyed being on one-on-one. So you can do so much more when you're one-on-one with a person, because it's just you, and they can be raw, and they can be real, and they can be vulnerable. Obviously, not everybody's vulnerable with everybody. And I've been doing this full-time, my own business as a coach and an entrepreneur. So to all of you that may be, you know, entrepreneurs of your just a one-man show, I understand what's that like. And I've been doing this successfully now for 11 years, 10 years, 11 years, which is amazing in actual fact. I always said, whew, you know, if I can make it to 10 years, yay. And I've made it, which is wonderful. And I have to share with you, there's a statistic that most companies don't, or smaller companies don't make it to 10 years. When I learned this, when I was an entrepreneur, I was like, that was one of my visions, my goals. I'm going to make it to 10 years. And when you keep going, something magical happens. Your reputation keeps evolving, keeps growing. There's an organic growth that actually happens, but it doesn't happen on its own. You've got to be magical at what you do. You've got to be exceptional. And coming to what the conversation is going to be today, you've got to learn to look after yourself and have a really awesome energy, because no one likes to deal with people who are negative, tired, unprofessional, unreliable, unpunctual, all those things that we know. So where should we begin, Richard? I just wanted to give a little.
I'm going to start. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to start with the sort of just giving everyone some context to how we sort of align the company values and our purpose statement to that of the individual. I think that's a good starting point. So, I mean, my business is corporate education. So we have perhaps the unfair benefit of achieving both the social and commercial intention. And through many hours of debate and discussion internally, we determined and deciphered our North Star being our purpose statement, as well as the set of values, which are the behaviors in which we want to operate in order to achieve that North Star. So our purpose statement is to empower people to empower others, which has a sort of pay it forward connotation. And then we establish a set of 4 values, which is being authentic, working in excellence, being people-centric, and being passionate about everything that you do. Now, those might just sound like four words on the wall or on a poster that we put together, but in order to live and breathe those, you have to ritualize them in the organization. And that takes a connection between that of the organization and to the heart center of the individual that's working in the organization. So that's where Karina has come in and worked with us so well with each individual, is to determine what the value system and the beliefs and the purpose of our team member and our individuals, and using the company as a vehicle to achieving those. So in order to, so
can I just want to interrupt you there. Sorry, Richard. I myself, guys, cannot do this job as a coach so well with Richard and I learn if I wasn't aligned with his values. I want to empower people. I believe in excellence. I believe in being passionate and authentic. So it does make my job much easier in terms of supporting the organization, being aligned with your values. And those are not just words. Those are that is like the bloodline of the organization. And I can assure you that it's been a process that Richard has been installing and I've been supporting to live by those guidelines.
Thank you. So one of the key things for me, having achieving these sort of things in a work context and looking at myself and looking at those in the team, is sort of very core critical things in order to achieve success. And the number one for me, and I'm completely biased because I have my own personal experience, and that is your health. And I believe that is the number one focus. And if there isn't ever a time at the moment that's screaming and shouting to how important your health is, you can have all the plans and goals in the world without your health, you've got nothing. All right, and often will become a ball and chain to holding you back to be able to achieving your success. So a small example, all right, is do you wake up in the morning with vitality, all right, or do you wake up in the morning sort of taking an hour to get out of bed, all right, or something similar. And that for me, in terms of the definition of being successful and achieving success, without that vitality and wellness, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle in your business. You're going to struggle in your life and your career. So in order to show up, in my view, in order to show up, that's like the number one foundation in order to even consider business success or personal success or whatever it is. Karina, do you agree with me? And maybe just share with us, what have we done with the team to instill that mindset from people that come from all walks of life, who are not exposed to what it means to be healthy in both mind and body.
And you said that beautifully when you're doing your intro. It's a holistic. This health is holistic. So it's mind, it's body, it's heart, it's spirit, and it's combining all of that together. Now, you're right, when you're dealing with various people and they're coming from different backgrounds, some are definitely more mind focused, or some are more heart centered focused, or some are more physical focused. But now it's about bringing that all into balance, and also helping individuals and these wonderful souls realizing that how can we help you to be holistically healthy? And so for example, in the one-on-one coaching sessions, which, by the way, I just have to say this, I want to commend Richard on his, it is such a progressive and conscious and deliberate intention when he embarked on this journey. And I always thought, oh gosh, okay, once I'm finished with this one, it's going to be done, and it's going to be that. And he's really recognized that, yes, whilst it's been a cost, it has been such a benefit to those people. And it's imagine if all leaders are just, do you actually ever think about that, Richard? Imagine if all leaders decided to do something similar like that for their staff. Could you imagine what a powerful, smart, holistically healthy workforce we'd create, and in doing that, how would that affect our economy?
Absolutely. There's the saying, with great power comes great responsibility. And in my view, anybody in a leadership position has a personal responsibility to uplifting those around me. But I'm biased, because those are my values and my requirements. So I inherently, perhaps in some respect, forced upon or try to evangelize in our team and in our business, probably more than others, sort of good health and good mind and good well-being and a good emotional connection and understanding, possibly than others. But I've seen the benefits, and I think that's what's important. We've seen people absolutely flourish in our organization, both as customers as well as employees within the company, that when they realize and align their health and wellness and what have you, at the end of the day, they're happier. And we spend 80% of our working hours at work and not at home. Most people that have careers and that are working. And my view is it's got to be unbelievable. Mustn't be okay or I get by. It must be absolutely phenomenal that you walk through the door every single morning and you are shooting the lights out. Like, why can't it be like that? All right? Why do we accept mediocrity? So that's my my shtick is not accepting mediocrity, because we have one life and we've got to shoot the lights out every day. So for me, in order to do that, health and well-being is critical. So what does that mean? Like we talked to some of our staff. Think about our last company-wide meeting that we had, where we spoke about nutrition. Just share with that, because that was like an eye-opener for a lot of people.
Well, because Richard in his organization has got this is also another huge success in his business is it's very diverse in the business. You won't say that, there is a certain type of a look or a background of the person. It's very multiculturally diverse. And I think that is for you entrepreneurs there, when you want to grow your business, I just want to put this in. Don't try and find a mini you. That's typically what a lot of people do. The diversity is actually what brings you that little secret sauce and that magic. But in that session that we had, we spoke about things like, forgive me for saying things like this, like we talked about water, like, how's your poop? We did like real things about health that people just like, wow, some people didn't realize this. And because both Richard and I, as you can actually hopefully pick up from this, we're very direct, we're very honest, and we're not afraid to have these honest conversations. We encourage that. That's also part of the healthy culture within the organization. And, there were conversations that, people didn't realize that certain foods, why were they brought into the mainstream? Oh, and then it's like another further education. And then culturally, we learn things from our own people and they learn from each other. And that is amazing. It's encouraging these conversations that inspire growth, that inspire you to think a little bit more wider than your own little circle, than your own little bubble. And it's not about how many times, it's about the consistency of those conversations.
I want to share a personal story. I unfortunately watched my father suffer from cancer for about 14 years, on and off, chemo, radiation, lung surgery, etc. So it was a pretty grueling process. And in fact, one of the greatest sort of positive consequences of that was perhaps became more of my focus on health. But what I realized is that in looking at his and analyzing his lifestyle, his habits, what he eats, the level of stress, how much whiskey you drink, etc., what you don't realize is the word I want to leave you with is the cumulative contribution to your overall well-being over a period of 20 years, not necessarily just a couple of months. and I'm not a big drinker, but there was a stage where we would go out for dinner once or twice a week, and I'd order a double. Okay, I drink whiskey, that's my poison. So, but if I have a whiskey or two, and we were doing this quite often, and we like to be social and entertain, and then I started realizing I was drinking a bottle of whiskey a month. All right, which for me, I don't know, maybe for a lot of you, doesn't seem like a lot, but for me, that was completely overkill. And the minute I started to sort of analyze what you put in your mouth and what you don't, and I sort of remember through my dad's sort of healing, was that food is medicine. Whatever you put in your mouth is either going to enable or disable your body. And so that sort of brought about an awareness of absolutely everything that you put in your mouth and how it makes you feel. All right, so just think about that. So every single meal, you just have a sort of like a quick check-in, a quick scan, like, how do I feel after that? Because I've had 2 coffees today, I'm feeling a little bit jittery, like maybe I shouldn't have that third coffee because it's sending my adrenals and my cortisol through the roof, makes me feel more anxious. All right, but I want to arrive at meetings feeling confident. I don't want to arrive at meetings feeling anxious. So, those small things, and this is the type of thing that we're sharing with our team, with a specific focus on gut health. And I know that's for those of you that are interested, it's considered the second brain, and how in achieving vitality. So it's never mind achieving health or wellness. The idea of vitality, to live with vitality, is to live with abundance in some respect. And I think if you can focus your energies on eating to be well, to have vitality, as opposed to losing weight or that sort of thing, you bring about a different energy and your focus on how you achieve that. So.
And combined with that, which is like, it's the number one place to start with, is understanding what you put in your body. And the other thing that you put in your body, of course, which we bring into, is what are the thoughts that you are choosing to have? What is the quality of the words that you are speaking? Because when you are an entrepreneur, you can be as healthy as you want, but if your internal language and your internal thinking is not in alignment and is more coming from a space of fear or insecurity, it's difficult. It's as hampering as if you were eating food that's not good for your body.
But I want to make the link there. That's like, in order to think healthy, for me personally, you have to have physical health first.
That's right.
And there's a chemical influence in your brain that when you are healthy and when you exercise, you are producing serotonin. What's it? Serotonin and all the good, oxytocin is the one I'm thinking of, all the good feelings that improve your vitality. All right. So I know when I go to gym or I go for a run or whatever it is, it might be hard initially, but you feel great afterwards. Do that 2-3 times a week, and you're already elevating yourself to a different level than you were when you're doing the opposite. And my view is, in order to think healthy, that's the starting point.
Yeah. And so what we try to help with the people around within the business and the people that we can influence, and that would be also you, is like, there are certain ways you can hack your energy. I actually want to briefly talk on something else that is just very intuitive right now to mention. Another way to hack your energy, because I was having a conversation with Lisa a little while ago, and she was like, but how come, Karina, we've just started the year and we're feeling very tired and whatever. And that got me going onto a whole thing. And I thought I'll mention it very briefly. Yes, this whole thing that's going on is difficult. It's meaning that we're having to have our limbic brain always going on this fight, flight, freeze sort of mode. And that's exhausting. That's exhausting, because you basically are literally thinking, will I be alive tomorrow, next week? The other thing is, we are more on our computer and our devices than we've ever been before, ever. And the science behind that is not so mainstream for you. I'm sorry to say, that's not something that people, the inventors want you to know. So another thing I try to encourage on a holistic level of people to have good energy is take regular technology fasts. Like some people, you're hearing the famous doing food fast. I say, try and do some technology fast, not always stuck to your phone, not always stuck to your computer. You know, a good thing you can do is a Shabbat on a Friday and switch back on your electronics on a Sunday, right? And I just, again, you know, when you're having these conversations and you have someone as well to be talking with you where you can, it allows you for this word that not many people understand. It's called interception. Interception is exactly that, where you are going inside, and as Richard was saying, like, figure out, like, after 3 cups of coffee or 2 cups of coffee, I'm feeling a little bit jittery. Is that going to help me feel confident for my next meeting? No. So you make a different decision. Then maybe one day you decide to actually stop coffee or stop alcohol or do this or do that. And I have to just remind you all, it's a progression. I see too many of my clients who are in their 40s who expect to have the same output as when they were 20. It's not possible. It's not possible.
I might challenge you on that because I'm 42 and I still feel 21.
So, and you know what, you have got a lot of energy, but there's still certain things that you will not compromise on today, Richard, such as your sleep. When you were 20, you could go a day without sleep because you could party all night long and work a full day's work. So it is about evolving and an evolution with where you are at, mind, body, and spirit.
Spot on. Yeah. Tell us, Karina, a little bit more how we get our team to think healthy. So we covered the nutrition stuff. Like, what are the daily practices? Like, what are you having to remind someone, especially in the stressful time and fear and anxiety based? You know, the only thing we can control is the current and the present, and what are we thinking and how are we running our lives? Well, what's going to happen in the future or not? We can't control that. So how do you help people uplift out of that mind space?
You know, my tagline is live consciously, and really it is that, and consciously means awareness. So basically, I just help facilitate a space where people can become more aware. And in that awareness, I support and trust that they will go on the path that is best for them. And this is the thing I'm trying to say to a lot of people. With all this busy, and noise, that is all the time there. People don't take the time to be quiet. I wish I had my journal. I left it over there. But this is one thing I strongly encourage of people is journal every day how you are feeling. This will help you with doing some introspection. And you know, there's something magical about having a conversation with somebody who genuinely cares for your well-being and who genuinely wants to see you do really well. And there's almost like an exchange of energy that happens that makes you want to do that for yourself, because somebody else who's a fairly stranger to you wants that for you. And for some people, they've never even thought of doing that for themselves. And God bless all these wonderful souls out there that are doing wonderful work, from, you know, from therapists to shrinks to coaches to mentors, whatever. There are so many people there wanting to help individuals. And the thing is, you've got to help yourself. You've got to be wanting to move into that space. And it does help when, you know, for example, Richard's like he says, he's got this tool for his staff. And use it, don't use it. You know, at the end of the day, we all evolve if we want to evolve, when we're ready to evolve.
But I think this, you don't necessarily need a coach. I think what you first need is a commitment. You know, and there's so much online that you can get. I mean, a great tool that I learned is called 10-10-10. So it's how you start your day. All right, and it's 10 minutes of doing something. So the first, and you've got to try and do it the minute you wake up. And the trick here is, do not look at your phone. Right? So you got to wake up fresh, you got to wake up clean. You got to start off with 10 minutes of meditation. All right, and all that means is going within, quietening the mind and being present, and that's how you start your day. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to journal for 10 minutes. All right, and you're just going to dump and download whatever thoughts come to mind. And then the most important one after that is 10 minutes of gratitude. All right. And you have to write what you are grateful for. Now, let me tell you, 10 minutes is long. Okay. Because you're like, all right, I love my kids. I love my wife. I love my house. And okay, now you've got another, 9 minutes and 30 seconds to go. So it really forces you to really look at all areas of your life. Now, how's that for a way to start the day? All right. As opposed to phone, Facebook, Instagram, emails, calls, kids rushing, so in order to achieve that vitality and wellness I spoke about, like these are the practical things that you have to do. And I think what you mentioned earlier, Karina, is that when you start to become, I want to use the word acutely conscious of your vitality, well-being, mind, wellness, whatever then you start to seek out these little tips and tricks to get you to being the best version of yourself so that you can live your highest potential. And they say it takes how long to break a habit?
66 days, not 21 days, not 2 weeks, it's 66 days.
66 days.
And most people do not have the stamina for 66 days.
Yeah, 66 days is long, but if you can do this practice, this small example, I guarantee you, all right, and phone me after 66 days, all right, and tell me how amazing you feel, because I guarantee you, my money back guarantee, that I promise you will feel amazing by doing these sort of things. But the thing is, I think a lot of people get stuck in a rut and they do what they've always done and they do what they've always known because that's what they've done, and it's the courage to step out of that and to say, like, actually, I can't do that. And the minute you draw a line in the sand and you put these things in place, when you start to realize your highest potential and living a life of abundance and wellness and what have you. So these are all quite esoteric and airy-fairy things that we're talking about this morning. I think what I'd like to take a different tack, because I see we've got 12 minutes left. How is this converted to real business success, commercial success, rands and cents, revenue and profits, all right, in the business? I think it's important to show you the results, all right? And listen, we're not we are successful, and we have, and I don't try to be too not arrogant, I'm trying to be humble here, but like these sort of things have helped us achieve some flow in the organization, some happiness in the organization, which has led to so real commercial results. I mean, to give you an example, when the lockdown was announced last year, we had 700 students that we were training nationally, in person, in classrooms, at venues. All right, so you can imagine my horror when we had to lock down. So, and that we could not see people face to face. To be completely honest with you, I was also panic stricken. There was a lot of anxiety about the unknown, because we couldn't plan and we couldn't forecast and we didn't know what decisions to make and all of that. So, the immediate thing that I did, given the nature of how we coach our staff and the culture that we built and that sort of thing, the first thing was to go within, all right, and to remove the anxieties and to maintain a connection with all of our staff. All right, so we doubled down on meetings, communication, phone calls, coaching sessions with Karina, to really get people in alignment, all right, to where we were. So and we did this day in, day out for months, and we've continued to do it. We are up 30% on last year, on the previous year, in revenue, which is staggering given the year that we've had. All right. So I'm trying to give you some hope that this stuff actually works. All right. Now, never mind you're doing this. So we do this as a collective, as part of a team, in order to achieve our goals. But at the end of the day, it's got to start with you. All right. And you've got to make that decision. So we achieved revenue success. We hired new staff. And in some cases completely virtually, which was an interesting experience, to do inductions and onboarding without actually meeting the person. and those particular team members are actually are flying. So there's that. I think we've never been, in such a disconnected world at the moment. It's weird to say this, but as a team, we've actually never been more connected. And Karina, you can attest to that, and how we have really just pulled together as a result of this way of thinking.
Absolutely. And I think the key word there is, for you entrepreneurs, keeping in mind to the audience there, is intention is everything. An intention is a vision, it is a plan, it is a goal, it is whatever it might be. And there's a wonderful neuroscientist, Dr. Andrew Huberman. He talks about changing your brain, hacking your behavior. And he talks about this chief neurotransmitter, which is called I can't say it. Isocholine. I'm struggling to say it. How do you say it? Do you know it, Richard?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Isocholine. And basically, he's basically saying, if you want to help yourself on that, is it's what you focus on, and the key is to focus. And so when all of that happens with the last year, what Richard did was went into focus mode. What can we do, and what's the intention? And so, of course, that connectedness and that connection, like you said, was never higher, because now we could all be online all together intentionally in one space. And that certainly facilitated people to feel, to progress through everything that was happening with greater ease.
Yeah. All right, so to summarize, we've spoken a lot about in order to achieve your best, in order to achieve your goals, you've got to arrive with vitality and wellness and positivity and abundance, and to put things in place to change and break old habits. Karina, give us some more tips. We need some practical stuff for everyone to walk away from. So we've given them the 10-10-10. Which is 10 minutes of meditation, 10 minutes of journaling, and 10 minutes of gratitude. What else can be done in all respects?
Be monomaniacally focused on what you want, where you want to go, and how you want to feel. And remember to holistically take care of yourself so that your energy is at its best, mind, body, and spirit, and to do some more introspection to understand that no one else has your biology, your physiology. And so doing that inner work is essential for you to show up at your best as an entrepreneur. I mean, I have got so many tips and frameworks to share, but there's just too many to mention.
I'll just follow you on LinkedIn.
Or my YouTube.
You share all of that.
Yeah, or my YouTube, yeah. where I share the little bits here and there. And truthfully, it's take the time. You deserve it. And be very, very mindful of where you spend your time. I think let that be a big nugget for everybody there. How are you spending your time? Are you spending your time watching the news, which is not good for your energy? Let's just be very honest with you in general. Are you spending your energy following Instagram? Are you, how are you spending your time? Equals how you will spend your energy, equals how you will feel. So what Richard has been bringing forth in terms of holistically being healthy and taking good care of your gut and what you eat and how and you moving, that's an investment. And that is like a no-brainer. I have to be honest, a no-brainer. I'm at loss at saying more than that, because I think you've said it all, Richard, to tell you the truth.
All right, so I think this may open up for questions. Let's get a bit of participation from people. And I mean, is this like, I'd love to know, does this connect with you, or is this like over your head? Give us some insight. I might have to volunteer someone to talk, so don't be shy.
You can all unmute yourselves. So if anyone wants to ask a question, Di, Rosen, I see you've unmuted yourself. Do you want to ask?
Totally 100% connects with me, and I do a lot of already what you've spoken about, and it does make a huge difference. It does.
Share with us before and after, because I'm making the assumption that you weren't always like this.
No, it's taken time.
Yes.
Well, first of all, if you become more conscious, you become less anxious.
Oh,
If you live
spot
in the
on.
present, again, you become less anxious. And there's a lot to be anxious about. But if you take control, you literally take control of your life. So regardless of what is surrounding me, and no matter how bad it may seem, my mind takes control. And then other stuff comes to you. You know, somehow God, universe, source, you know, however you refer to it, miracles do happen.
That's
And
true.
thank you, Di, for saying that. And I just want to share with you a tactic when I was in the corporate world, and whenever I had started my staff meetings. By the way, if you ever have staff meetings, are really pertinent. It's a big thing I tell leaders. Please stop canceling meetings. Be consistent with your meetings. And one of my little things I used to do in my meetings, which you reminded me of, Di, as you're saying that, was at first it was maybe a bit right-brained for a lot of people, and that is I'd start the first 10 minutes of the hour meeting with just breathing. And I'd say to everybody, breathe in, breathe out. It's kind of doing a meditation, just being conscious. I swear to you, none of my staff were ever late for my meetings. If anything at all, they'd say to me, please can we start our meetings a little bit earlier so we can breathe a little bit longer? And that, again, when you bring that consciousness into a team, into people that you work with, within your family, with your friends, because as small entrepreneurs, you know, maybe it's not staff, but it's friends and family. If you bring that consciousness, you support that. Oh my gosh, it's amazing what it does.
It is. It's life-changing. It absolutely is. And also when you spoke about the nutrition, I'm in the film industry and I once proposed to a broadcaster, you are what you put into your body. So you are what you eat. But I mean, it never happened because they said, "Di, you're going to kill all my advertisers." So
Bad.
But it's so true, because that does make a huge difference as well.
But you know, this is an interesting time that we are living, because there's a grand awakening that's happening. So yes, there's a lot of sad and bad, but again, how do we all choose to look at the glass, half full or half empty? That is our own choice.
Yes.
You know, and everything starts with a decision. But this is an opportunity, because there's an opportunity to shift so many things. Why are we advertising crap stuff to people, right? And why should that be reserved for only a few people to be aware of? That when you eat this, this is the effect that it has on you. I would love to know in 150 years from now what would have been legal, what will not be legal.
I hope it's Coca-Cola.
I definitely think a lot, and I do believe that we are moving more towards holistic agriculture, self-farming, growing our own. I do believe that's where we're all going to head to.
Yeah.
Soon.
Thank you, Dan.
Richard, Karina, I think Lisa Plitz may want to ask something or say something.
Hi, I was just listening to what you were saying. You know, I've been an environmentalist for my whole life, and I think one of the things the pandemic has brought about is that we've had to actually stop and think about where we are. And I think that should be part and parcel of everyday life all the time. I mean, one of my favorite sayings to my boys is stop and smell the roses. Don't keep careering forward at such a pace that you miss everything around you. Stop, look, breathe. And so, yeah, I mean, I do it in a different way too, but I totally agree that it's that essential connection to the place we live in, the times we live in are essential.
Great mama, Lisa.
Spot on.
Thank you.
Teach all our boys that.
Everyone, actually.
Yeah, true. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there
I
any
think
other
Lauren.
questions? Lauren?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks, Richard and Karine. That was really great. And just to say that I think the most important thing that I've learned over the years, because this has been my lifestyle for many, many decades, and that is that in some cases, it is a quick fix. In others, you're in it for the long haul. But when you look back, I mean, I can look back 40 odd years, and I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, it's because of various nutritional principles, exercise, sleep, mindset, consciousness, all of those kinds of different ways, but they're very conscious and deliberate of living in the world, makes a massive difference down the line. And I can tell you that for sure, looking not just at me, but at other people who've embraced this kind of lifestyle, that you look back 40, even 50 years for some, and you can just see the impact that it has made on you. So once you commit to doing this, just understand you may not wake up tomorrow feeling a completely different person, but I can guarantee you in decades to come, not only are you going to feel a more well-rounded, healthy, stronger, resilient person, able to completely rely on your resources. And obviously there are all the ups and downs and whatever, which is part of life, but you certainly in it for the long haul, and the benefits speak for themselves.
Lauren, thank you for that. And I just, as you said that, you wanted me to share something, Richard, it's come to me now. Hold on, I'm getting a post-it. I don't have a very, okay, my handwriting is terrible, but can you see there? It says seams. This is a framework that I teach a lot of my clients. I'm going to give it to you here. Whatever's happening in your life, ask yourself this: what seems to be going on? And the S stands for, how is my sleep? How am I sleeping? That's the first S. Getting good sleep, so essential. The first E is eating. How is my eating? What am I eating? Am I eating food that's going to give me higher vibration, higher energy, higher vitality, higher productivity? Because we know burger and chips is going to make you feel flat, whether a good salad and a good organic piece of chicken will, yeah, maybe it's not so satisfying for some people, but your palate adjusts, right? So that's seems, sleep, eat, exercise. We have to move on a regular basis. Again, I mean, Richard is a fitness freak. I mean, he's super strong, he's super fit, and he's been doing this for many years, but some of us, we're not in the same level as him. Like, for example, for me, a nice gentle walk is a little bit easier, and a good swim is kind of for me on my body. So we got sleep, eat, exercise. M, meditation or prayer or silence. And then the last S is sun. Like, get out there and get some sun. Get out there and ground yourself on Mother Earth. I know that sounds right brain, like I said. I know that sounds a little bit fluffy or whatever, but the reality is, if you are stuck behind your computer, you're eating French fries, you're watching the news day long, and you're Instagramming all like gossipy stuff and whatever, and you're not getting good sleep, and you're not moving, and you're not getting some sun, I promise you, your productivity and your energy and your creativity, therefore, will not be as impactful and meaningful as you need it to be. Not saying that it's impossible, but in general. So Lauren, thank you for reminding us on all you said. It's so true. And for some of us, it's like, it takes that time, you know, it's not an overnight.
Both Karina and I are originally from Joburg, and even still now I travel a lot to Joburg for business, which is the concrete jungle. And the first thing that we have, it's an absolute luxury and privilege to live in Cape Town, to be surrounded by so much nature and to be connected with the earth. And there's a feeling or a saying when I go into the Glen Forest or to Kirstenbosch or whatever it is, you get washed with nature, and it's a cleanse. So often after a hectic, now I've gone on hired a car, got into an aeroplane, gone on the concrete jungle to Joburg. I mean, there's very little nature in Joburg, unfortunately. The first thing I do when I come home after experiencing that concreteness is I take my shoes off and I put my feet onto the grass at home, and it's a way to ground you after being quite frazzled with travel and whatever you. So I also find that works really well for me.
Thank you for mentioning that.
Sorry, Karina, no, you go ahead.
It's just, I want to mention it to anybody listening as well, is that do that for yourselves. If you got a little piece of garden, you got something, it's like when you have your lunch, go and take your feet to the ground, eat your lunch barefoot, if it's not raining, if the weather permits, and just make that point of touching the earth. And you know, this was so weird because when I was growing up, my mom was telling me this, and I used to look at her like, you're so strange, but she was so right. And now science is only catching up to this.
Mothers are
Well,
generally always
Richard,
right.
yeah, mothers are generally right. Richard and Karina, what an amazing 45 minutes. You guys have really shared some unbelievable life skills, golden nuggets for all of us from a personal perspective, and obviously this will impact our professional lives, which is our intention as entrepreneurs. And after listening to our president last night, my family and I all decided straight after school this afternoon, where are we going? To the ocean.
Beach.
That's it. I'm getting in that
Awesome.
ocean and I'm having my swim, because
We'll see you there.
that's what's so yeah, just thanks everybody. We have recorded the session, so we will share it with all of you so that you can go back to it, because there was a lot of information and valuable insights. So Karina and Richard, honestly, your vitality, your energy, your disposition, your auras, everything are just so valuable, and it's just been an amazing, amazing time. So thank you very much, and thanks everyone for joining us, and we hope to see you all at the next one. And good luck and keep safe.
Thank you, Richard.
For the
That was-
year.
Thank you for your time, mostly.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
thank
Thanks
you
for the
for your time.
privilege.
Thank you. Keep well, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Karina.
Bye, Richard.
See you later.
See you later. Have a good day. Hey?
Yeah. You
Bye.
too. Bye.